We've seen the numbers on the board there in the United Nations General Assembly. A very interesting vote. As we said all along, we don't think Israel is going to do anything about this vote. They've shown that on the ground while the UN Security Council has been taking place. They've shown defiance of this whole process by their bombardment, by cutting off communications and signaling that this is the beginning of an expanded ground offensive. But this was a moment where all of the world, all 193 nations, had to show where they stood on this war. Got confused, I think, a little by the amendments and everything else, but we now know where all those countries stand, and it was in favour of the resolution 120 countries, against 14, and then a lot of abstentions, 45. So if you look at the number of people for and against, the two-thirds majority just got in the two-thirds majority. So the resolution has passed. The General Assembly's had its say. I think it's worth me just quickly telling you who voted against, because obviously Israel voted against and the US voted against. Among the other 14, there are not certainly not all of the US's close allies were there with the US. In fact, France voted in favour of this resolution. The UK abstained on the resolution. Germany abstained on the resolution. So it is interesting. The US did not.
Is that a surprise, the way that France and Germany have
voted? The fact that France voted in favour, I mean, I think it is interesting. France voted in favour, though, in the Security Council when the US used its veto, and on that occasion, again, the UK abstained. I think everyone had to say where they stood on this occasion, and the US and some 13 other countries, including Israel, have said that they are not in favour of a durable truce at this time if that amendment wasn't part of the resolution. So they've had a chance to say where they stand, even once they knew what was going on this evening while they were meeting on the bombardment than all the heavy bombardments that we've seen over 3 weeks. Over 7,000 people killed, over 3,000 children killed in 3 weeks. That's a rate of killing children by Israel of 1,000 children a week.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait and see what impact what's happened at the UN this evening actually has on the ground in Gaza, if any at all.
It won't have much impact, but it does. I think everyone had to say what they thought and where they stood, and a lot of them hadn't declared it before. We now have a snapshot at this moment of what the world thinks.
What he said there, but I said, how do you feel about the vote? He shook his hand there, raised his fist, and said, there's justice in the General Assembly. He's going to be speaking here in a few more minutes. As you can tell, the ambassadors are now leaving the General Assembly hall there. And I was able to see the ambassador from the United Arab Emirates. I asked her, do you think that Israel will abide by this resolution? She just shrugged her shoulders and said,
Israel won't abide by it. Israel think they're above and outside the law. Israel's like the Department of Works and Pensions and like the job centres here in the UK. They think they're above and beyond the law. And there's only one person in the world that is above and beyond the law. That's King Charles III. Everyone else in the world, they have to abide by the law, because King Charles III, he is the law. Right, it's King's Council.
Thank you so much for the time being. That's Gabriel Lizondo reporting up for us from the United Nations. And just a reminder that the UN General Assembly has called for an immediate humanitarian truce between Israel and Hamas, and also that resolution has demanded aid access to the Gaza Strip and for the protection of civilians. So while that was taking place over in New York, that's the live picture from Gaza.
That's a fire, by the way. That is a fire. That's not
Israeli military
light. That, if you look, you can see the smoke.
Off the strip.
That's actually a fire
in the past few hours. And also
in Gaza.
Hours ago, we heard from the Israeli military spokesman who said that they will be increasing their ground operations.
The reason it keeps buffering is I'm on data connection, and the data, the internet in my town is.
Here's Tarek Abu Azoum. from Khan Yunis in Gaza.
Of the Gaza Strip. This town has witnessed massive.
This is recorded because they've got no internet in Gaza. Are about to say it's because the pressure of bomb blasts take out the internet. It's like on bonfire night in the UK, 9 times out of 10, our internet goes down, not because it's been taken down by the company because of the explosion. The pressure forces, because when a mobile phone signal comes, if there's fireworks going off, it's going to blow the arc, so you won't get a signal. But then a couple of days later, it's all right. So I used to go to Germany a lot, and after New Year's Eve, we used to come out of shows after midnight. One year we had to have a police escort because the smoke from the fireworks